Hello, world. It is Ms. Hockman. I am emerging from my sick bed. I've been down for about a week. Started off with a sore throat and ended up with a, I don't know what, full-blown cold, infection-y weirdness thing going on. So I just want to come out and say hi because I haven't been out in a little while. And I have a topic I want to talk about today. So if you have anybody you think that would benefit from hearing some marketing goodness, some things that changed my career for me, I would love for you to share this live and, let them know what's going on. So hello, everybody. So listen, I started in traditional network marketing, okay? And I started with friends and family with a list of 100. I started with a home party. I did all of that good stuff. And just so you know, in case you think I'm going to go there, I'm never going to bash that stuff. I am here today because of that stuff. I learned my skills because of that stuff. I learned how to talk about my product and my company and how to do a presentation, etc. because of that stuff. So when people say to me, I don't want to talk to, a lot of people advertise, don't talk to your friends and family and don't do all this stuff. I think that's goofy. Okay. So just straight up, saying that you got to learn. That's how you learn. But once I went through all of that and, I moved further down the line, what I did was I learned about a new tool at the time, which was called an autoresponder. This was a long time ago, guys, and this is brand new. This is cutting edge. Like Facebook Live and all this stuff that we're doing now is cutting edge. It's new. We didn't have this. Gosh, not very long ago, we didn't have this, right? So, and it's funny because, can I do a sidebar before I get to what I really wanted to talk about? I'm going to do a sidebar. Can you guys handle a sidebar? Can I step over here and share something and then bring you back? Can you do it? I think you can. So here's the deal. People will always take the path of least resistance. Okay? People will always take the path of least resistance. You ever see in a town, they set up their town and they have like the town green or something and they have the little paths and there's cement and everything. And then there's always like where people walked across the grass and the grass is gone. It's because people will always take the path of least resistance. Guys, when we're traveling, we have GPSs now, right? We're looking at traffic and we're looking, what's the path of least resistance? What's the fastest way to get there? It's human nature. That's why we invented the wheel. That's why we went to the moon. Guys, we will always take the path of least resistance. So all of my marketing is based upon the path of least resistance. Why? Because I'm a lazy ass, one. And two, because it works. Okay? Because this is human nature. So can we all agree that people will always take the path of least resistance? And the reason why that came to me is because when lives originally came out, I didn't want to do them. I didn't like them. Okay, they were different. I didn't like them. But now it's the path of least resistance. I can communicate with lots of people by pushing a button. There's no uploading. There's no editing. There's no this. There's no that. We're at a place in time now where, I do have some makeup on my face today, but I don't have to get all dolled up. My hair's still kind of wet. It's the path of least resistance. It's so easy that I just gave in. By the way, America, we all have so many cars. I know we have people in the UK here and stuff. I saw Simon go by, I see Jennifer go by. I think there's other people in Europe here. In America, most everybody has a car, except for if you live in a major city like New York City. And the reason why, it's not because people don't want their own cars in New York City. It's because it's too much of a pain in the ass. There's nowhere to park. If you do have a parking spot, it costs a fortune. There's a lot of traffic. It's a lot of hassle. It's easier to jump on the subway to get across town, to go fast. So the path of least resistance in New York City is to not have a car, right? In other places, the path of least resistance, it would be too much of a hassle. Like where I live, public transportation exists. It's really crummy, right? So I wouldn't, like not having a car, my brain is going to figure out how to have a car because it's the path of least resistance. So does this make sense to you guys? The path of least resistance, your prospects will always follow it. In marketing, will always follow it. We're always going, and in fact, in this industry, part of what people are always seeking, they're seeking the magic bullet, right? I sit and teach exactly how I market to thousands of people all the time. And they're like, yeah, but what else? Yeah, but what else? Because they're looking for the secret. They're looking for the path of least resistance. So with that being said, when I don't know what year it was, I learned about a tool called an autoresponder. And I learned how I could talk to people en masse. So instead of talking to people one at a time, I could talk to them in mass, hundreds, potentially thousands at a time. And I thought this made so much sense. So what I did was I switched. I was taught to invite people, right? Invite, it's a big word in network marketing. Invite people to take a look at my business. And that's what I did. I would say, if I could show you a way, and I would invite people to take a look at my business. When I learned about autoresponders, I decided to start inviting people to jump on my newsletter. Okay. So what I did was I took the rejection and the weirdness out of the process, and I started inviting people that seemed like good, interested potential prospects. And I invited them to come to my newsletter where I'm sharing content and ideas with them. Now, I've been doing this since 2001? You know, this is like now everybody's saying you got to add value, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it's wonderful because it's true. But I've been doing this for 100 years. So when I stopped inviting to the sales process and I started inviting to an informational process, what I did was I created a body of people that were ripe for the picking. I created a body of people that were hanging out with me on a daily basis, where I was sharing ideas and concept and what was going on in my life. And, you know, this week I've been sharing that I've been sick in bed, you know, and I'm sharing what's going on in my life. They feel an intimacy with me. They feel a connection with me. So then when I say, hey, by the way, like last night I said, hey, by the way, I'm about to put out the schedule for my copy and narrative workshops. If you're on the lookout to be part of those, keep your eyes open. I've primed the group of people that are on the lookout. So now the next letter I send out, or the one after that, when I have the dates, I will sell out my thing in 2 minutes because I have an interested party of people. They've all given me permission. I invited them to get news and updates from me. They said yes, they gave me permission, and now they literally let me pitch them up to 365 days a year. And it doesn't feel awkward, and it doesn't feel yucky, and nobody's offended. And if it serves them, they stick around. And if it doesn't serve them, they can take off. There's a little button, they can go. And now we no longer have that weird, awkward situation. Now, it sounds like a dream, right? It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's incredible. But you have to do work. You have to constantly be inviting, just like prospecting. Guys, I prospect for my list. I don't prospect for my business, because then I can shake my list up and find the exact right parties. And by the time they reach out to me, generally they're ready to go. There's just a few questions or a matter of what form of payment is involved. But that means I have to write my list all the time. That means I have to be consistent. That means I have to come up with interesting things to tell them. That means I have to care about them enough to be sharing things. That means I need to be, sharing things about my life and where I'm going and what I'm doing. So it's a different process, works like crazy. Now, which one is right for you? I don't know. That's the process I use. All I can do is tell you about the process I use. But what I do know is that on a daily basis, if you are not inviting people, when you sit back and you think about it, how many people did you invite to come into either an environment or to look at your product, service, or business last week? When you get real, when you just look in the mirror and you find out, see, you can invite them into a Facebook group if the Facebook group is a good environment that you're able to talk to them regularly. I personally like email lists better. Right now, Facebook Messenger, there's a lot of neat things you can do. You can kind of build a list in there. Mark Harbert's coming out with something about that, and we've been talking about it over at MLSP and stuff. So there's different places that you can gather people. It doesn't really matter what that place is. But in the end, you have to be inviting people to be exposed, involved, and upgraded in your business on a daily basis. Without that, you're fooling yourself, right? Is that fair? I mean, it's just truth. So what I like, though, is that when I do it the way I do it, it's a lot easier to sort through the people. And guys, this is no different than traditional network marketing when we did meetings, because what we were doing was we were bringing people, inviting them to a meeting, and we had a big environment for them to be in. And inside of that environment, we would present, and then the people who liked it would join, and the people who weren't sure maybe came back next time. And you were building up a culture inside of a community. And it's been that way for 50 years. So if we're standing alone, right? No man is an island, no man stands alone. Isn't it like a song and a poem, right? If we're standing alone trying to build a business all by ourselves, we're generally lacking in this area. If we're not finding a way to compile the people so we can talk to more of them at once, right? I can put out an offer for my product, service, coaching, whatever, to thousands of people at a time. And that's what allows me to find the 5 that want to sign up, right? You can put out an offer. If you start getting serious about this, you can put out an offer to thousands of people at a time. That's how you hit the leaderboards this month. That's how you win the trip this month. That's how you close out your month strong. Let me tell you guys something. At the end of the month, if you're in, sorry, tail end of sickness. If you're in a program where you work month to month and you need to close out the month and hit rank, let me tell you, having a list is a good thing. Because you can shake that list at the end of the month for more volume. You can shake that list at the month for at the end of the month for one more sign up, one more person. So that's it. The key to all of this, the key to the invitation, the art of the invitation, is to be consistently and constantly doing it. And if there's any way possible to put people into an environment where you can talk to a bunch of them at once, that's what makes the biggest difference. Today, in the age of the internet and the age of the live and the age of, all the tools we have, you have no excuse for not being marketing with leverage. Leverage is the big key here because it's the numbers. Leverage has always been given to us, whether you're running ads to get in front of a lot of people, whether you've built that list to get in front of a lot of people. Think of all these little levers that you have access to. And then the pros, they're just using a bunch of them. Right? The pros are using massive exposure through ads. The pros are using massive exposure because they've built up a fan page. The pros are using massive exposure because they've built up a personal profile. The pros are using massive exposure because they've built up an Instagram account. The pros are using massive exposure because they've built up an email list. The pros are using massive exposure because they're at events where they're able to talk to large groups of people, where they're being photographed by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. So it's not that the pros are any different. It's just that they've understood the leverage and all these little things, and they've lined it all up so that they just have more leverage than anybody else. That's all. Thank you, Judy, for a sniffly girl. I appreciate your saying that. Thank you very much. So any questions before I take off? I got a lot of stuff I got to accomplish today. But I saw a lot of friends. I saw Aaron Rashkin go by. I saw some cool people, man. Not that you're all not cool. Ray, how are you feeling? I hope you're feeling better. Let's see. Who am I seeing this weekend? I saw Simon. Simon, are you coming over this weekend? I hope you are. I saw Donna Valdez, another queen. Randy, hello. Lisa, hello. Steve, and just Colin, hello. Lots of, yeah, that's what it is, guys. It's massive exposure. It's massive exposure. It's levers. It's Christopher Peraldi, another super cool person. April Marie, who I get to see this weekend. April and Jeff. Scotty Carell has a boo-boo, but I know he's counting the days down to Christmas. So I like that. Very good. So that's it, guys. Massive exposure. And when you have that, hello, David. When you have that, hey, Dave, David and Dave and Lorraine and everybody. Jenny, didn't you just go somewhere? You were going somewhere. I saw you traveling on the road or something. So that's it. So for those of you that I'm seeing next weekend, this weekend coming up, I'm so excited to see you. For those of you that I won't be seeing, where will I be seeing you? I think next up after that is New Orleans, but that's a private team event. Some of you guys I'll be seeing there though. And then I'll be sharing the stage with Ray Higdon, Todd Falcone, Cedric Harris, Lisa Grossman, Curtis Broom. So it's going to be a crazy event, but that's a private team event. So that's kind of cool. So I'll be in New Orleans for like a week. And then next stop is Florida, over in Fort Myers, Ray Higdon's event. If anybody's looking for tickets to that event, I do have tickets available. Brittany, I'm not sure if I'm going to go pro yet or not. We'll see. We'll see. I like the smaller events myself. God knows Eric is the king and he has built an empire, but I miss the old days when it was 300-400 people and Eric was hosting those events. So we'll see. We'll get there, but I will be at Ray's event. If anybody needs a ticket, let me know. I do have a special mastermind going at Ray's event Friday night with some special guest speakers, not at liberty to disclose. But one of them I'm pretty sure is going to come. You guys want to see this person? Unique opportunity. And if you meet this particular person, if I can get them to come down, you will see a lot of my legacy. You will understand me at a whole nother level if you hear this person open their mouth. So one of the people I studied tremendously during my upbringing in this industry. So that's it. Ray's heading out on a cruise. Mr. Higdon's going to be on the Allure of the Seas, one of my favorite ships. I love that ship. So that's it. So everybody good? Does everybody understand what I was talking about and what I was explaining? Leslie, unfortunately, that's going to be for my ticket holders. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. But right now, it depends on the set because I only have room for like 40 people. So if I can fit more people, I'll do it. But if I can't fit more people, then unfortunately, no choice. You know what I'm saying? It's all about space. Oh, for those of you that are coming to Live the Dream and are coming in on Friday, I'm telling you now that Friday room, that mastermind room that I put together, it doesn't hold that many people. So we're going to do 2 to 4, get there early. I'm almost sure we're going to have to turn away people. Which I don't like, but this was just like a whim, something I was going to do with my guys. And then I said, let's open it up to whoever's around. The next thing I know, that 400 people want to come. We just don't have the room. So that's it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a spectacular day. Go get some leverage and go invite. I don't care whether you invite straight to your presentation, whether you invite to a list, whether you invite to an event, invite them to a conference call, invite them to take a trial. Some of you guys have trial products. Invite. That's the secret. Invite, 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 invite. No, leaders don't take the harder road to success. Leaders find leverage because no different. Everybody wants the path of least resistance, but the smart business person sees the leverage. And the leverage is what catapults them forward. Guys, I'll tell you, in 2017, going one person at a time, I don't think you could ever catch up because attrition is, I just say it like it is. Attrition is high because people are exposed to too much. It's not like back in the day where when I joined network marketing, I didn't know what network marketing was and I didn't know there were other network marketing companies. The chances of my leaving or quitting was nil because I didn't know there was any other choice. Today, there's so much exposure to so much stuff. And then there's so much spammy stuff that you really have to find leverage to sort through people fast enough to find the right people for your team, right? Guys, that's what you're looking for. You're looking to sort through people. I don't need to recruit people. I need to sort through people to find the right ones. Recruiting is just a natural process when you're with the right person. It's a click. It's a click. But you have to go through enough people to find those right people to remove that convincing thing. So my mentor always used to say, it's not the process that isn't working. You're just working with too few a number. And I took that to heart and went to work. All right, later, taters. See ya. Bye. Share this if you liked it. Share it if you think it will help anyone. Okay, bye.